Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Church of Edmonton. My name is Karen Mills. My pronouns are she, her, and I have the pleasure of being co-director of Chorealis. We're switching things up a little bit this morning. Usually Gordon and I share the service and share the readings, but he's been recouping a little bit, but has doing so well that he's filling out our tenor section this morning. So you get to see him in a new light today. Before we start into our service, I would just like to say a special thank you to all the volunteers who are making this service possible, and I want to especially acknowledge Rebecca Patterson, who's a gifted musician, music teacher, singer, and has been subbing in for us while Gordon is recovering, and has been accompanying Chorealis the last couple of rehearsals, and will be playing for us today and tomorrow at the EVM Holiday Extravaganza. So thank you to Rebecca. It's really been wonderful. And of course, thank you to the people who are serving as greeters, welcomers, ushers, our tech team, our slide designers, the online whole team that is making it possible for people to attend remotely, which on a chilly morning like today was kind of tempting, but I'm glad that the people here were brave enough to make it out. And I'd just like to start with a little reading, which I don't usually do as a welcome, but I just thought this was so lovely. I wanted to share it with you. As December opens up before us, we welcome in the gift of reflection. We turn toward our holiday celebrations and search for common threads of meaning. We begin with Yule, the winter solstice, and we are invited to explore the duality, cycles, seasons, and to witness the Holly King being overcome by the Oak King. Yule reminds us that we all partake in the miracle of renewal. Hanukkah, the festival of lights, commemorates a time of miracles when the faith of the Jewish people sustained them to reclaim their holy temple and keep the light of the menorah burning for 8 days. Christmas, the celebration of Jesus' humble birth in a manger, offers us to revisit the miracle of birth and the desire to find saviors to heal the scars of humanity. Here in our church, you are just as much a holiday miracle as the turning of the earth, as persistence and dedication to a faith, as the creation of each new life. We see the love you give to others, the space you create to hold one another, joys and sorrows, and the generosity and spirit that you entrust to this community. So you are the holiday miracle, and this community is one of our miracle makers. Welcome. We are going to share readings and songs this morning that look at the darkness and return to light and the Christmas story, but through a UU lens. So I hope that you enjoy that. Before we start our service proper, I know there are a couple announcements, so I'd like to invite Marilyn forward.
Good morning. My name is Marilyn Gay, and my pronouns are she, her. Today is the day that we are celebrating the United Nations International Day of Human Rights, and the event in our front foyer is Right for Rights, which is sponsored by Amnesty International. You've seen the table. I don't have to describe it to you. I want to say a heartfelt thank you to people who've already written letters this morning while they were waiting for the chimes. And we will have those materials available to you to write your powerful letters to save lives until 1 o'clock. So take your time and please participate. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ali Hamilton. My pronouns are she and her, and I am also collecting signatures with Marilyn this morning. I'm working on behalf of a small group of Ukrainian refugees who came to Edmonton when the beginning of the war happened. And I hadn't realized, and you may not realize, that they were actually not given refugee status because the war was not expected to last. So they're all here on temporary work visas. And if the powers that be decide to end this war, they could be sent home tomorrow. And so I'm asking people if they would be willing to sign letters that I will send to their MP, requesting that Ukrainian refugees who've been in this country for 2 years or more, are self-supporting and of good character, should be allowed a pathway to permanent resident status. And I will be located next to the coffee bar at the very end of the Right for Rights campaign. So if you can find your way down to me, I will attempt to force our photocopier to print more copies of the letters. That's my only restriction. So we'll see how that goes. Thank you.
Right. On this December morning, as the days grow shorter and the snow rests on the ground, let us bring to mind the history beneath our feet. We acknowledge that we gather on Treaty 6 territory, the traditional meeting grounds, gathering place, and traveling route to the Cree, Saulteaux, Nakota, Blackfoot, Dene, and Métis. In the winter months, this area known as Amiskwaciwaskagan, or Beaver Hills House, or Edmonton, was a vital refuge for sustenance and community. And just as Indigenous ancestors waited out the long winters with resilience and community, we too gather here to find hope in the dark. We give thanks for the stewardship of the Indigenous peoples of this territory. May we honor their enduring presence and commit to being good treaty neighbors, ensuring that warmth, justice, and care are extended to all who call this land home. Chorealis is going to begin our service with a prelude. We're in the midst of the season of celebration. The darkness of the year is lifting, and the time of light finally grows longer. We've gathered with anticipation of hope for peace on earth and in our homes. We've gathered in this season of celebration, seeking comfort to soften the pain and the losses our lives have suffered in the fast retreating year. We've gathered to worship joyfully within this season of celebrations with the tenderness and love of family and friends around us. Let us be embraced by strength and power of this sacred space that we each bring as we create this beloved community. Let joy and sorrow join in the fullness of the living, and let the power and strength we embody join together as we move through the seasons of celebration into a new year with a new vision of hope and peace on earth. And I'd like to invite Tony Wong forward to light our chalice this morning. We light this chalice as a symbol of our free faith. We light this chalice as to remember the miracle of the oil that burned for 8 days. We light this chalice to mark the nights of Midwinter. And we light this chalice as we wait for the sun to return.
This first reading is called Celebrating the Darkness by VonRue. Traditionally, Advent is a time of searching for light in the dark. The pagan tradition of Yule is a celebration of the return of the sun, but darkness is as important as light. The cold dark of winter is as important to life as the bright warmth of summer. Darkness is home to entire ecosystems, places where humans cannot survive. Darkness offers us the gift of rest, healing, and hope. It is in the darkness of sleep that our bodies are able to heal and rejuvenate. Darkness offers opportunities for beauty and love to live in our lives. Conception begins in the dark womb. A great prophet was born at night, and the vastness of the universe can only be seen in the darkest of nights. So, in this time of long nights, let us welcome the night. Let us give thanks for the life, rest, healing, hope, love, and beauty that are often offered to us only in the darkness. Come, beautiful souls, and let us worship as we embrace the darkness together.
Let us celebrate that darkness with one of what I think is the most beautiful hymns in our hymnal, number 55, Dark of Winter. Please stand as you are able, and words will appear on the screen behind you.
This reading is called Joy. It's by Jan K. Nielsen. And in this reading, she talks about her Scandinavian roots. We're not just sure when the tradition of lighting Advent candles began. We can find references to the season of Advent as early as the late 6th and early 7th centuries. We believe the tradition of the Advent wreath may have come centuries later from the Scandinavian people who, for generations before, had placed candles around a wheel during the darkest weeks of the year as a way to ask the gods of light to turn the wheel of the earth back toward the sun to lengthen and warm their days. Christianity came as late as the year 1000 to the people of Scandinavia. For them, the sun and the moon and the waters of the earth were all sacred. They were sources of both life and power. When the Christians moved in and began to convert these sometimes stubborn northern people, some of the old pagan customs would not die, but instead lived on as part of Christian rituals. Today, the evergreen ring of the Advent wreath symbolizes the ongoing circle of life, and its candles call us in the 4 weeks before Christmas to pray that in our world and in our lives, we might know peace, hope, joy, and love. When I was a child, we didn't light Advent candles in our home, but each year, my Aunt Elma and Lucy mailed us Advent calendars from California. I loved to open a tiny glittered door of the calendar each day as I counted the days until Christmas. Sometimes I would even cheat and open the 2 or 3 doors all on the same day. This year, someone sent me a wonderful gift, an electronic Advent calendar. Each day, when I click to open a new scene, my computer screen comes alive with movement and music. A few days ago, I decided to test it, to click on the next day, and it wouldn't let me. For once, technology wouldn't let me race on ahead, but instead made me remain in the present moment, and I had to wait. Most of us these days spend a lot of time racing ahead of ourselves while living mostly in our heads. It can seem like we're always thinking ahead, planning, making and changing our mental to-do list. Most of us also keep an inner worry list, whether we call it that or not. And sometimes it seems we can't find room for joy as long as anything remains on our worry list. Joy becomes something we put off until tomorrow. Our days and weeks can seem to go so fast, we sometimes wonder what we did with our time. The tradition of Advent asks us to live in our bodies, to slow down long enough to count our days. Sometimes it is our trials in this life, trials both large and small, that can bring us back to the present, to today, to the life we have right before us. Life reminds me again this week that these bodies in which we live are precious and sacred. Our bodies are also vulnerable and can become fragile. The truth is, we are all human, and we are all, in some way, in need. We need the basics: food and water, rest and touch, the light of the sun, and the sound of a human voice. We also need joy. Joy can come to us from places both expected and unexpected. Joy can bubble up out of our bodies when we least expect it and surprise us with both laughter and tears. We are here together on this Advent morning. None of our lives are perfect. We all have our trials, but we are here together, alive, and we have been given the gift of breath and the promise of another day. What will we do with this gift? What will we do with this day? How will we use these bodies we've been given? My question for myself this Advent morning is this: what can I do on this day to make a positive impact on the world around me? How can I make a positive impact at home with my family? How can I make a positive impact here with these sisters and brothers of this beloved community? Joy awaits us in this life, and joy was meant to be shared in the coming days. My prayer is that we all might do what we can with what we have been given, to share some joy whenever, wherever, and however we can.
Each week until Christmas, we light a new candle on the Advent wreath. The circle of greenery reminds us of the eternal cycle of life without beginning or end. This morning, we relight the first candle as a symbol of hope and expectation. We light the second candle as a symbol of our longing for peace. We bring our hope into the world when we practice peacemaking. Our caring community aspires to be a source of freedom from violence and exclusion. As June Jordan writes, may we become the ones we have been waiting for. Together, may we strive to create lasting peace. Together we say, Infinite Spirit of life, teach us to seek peace, understanding, and justice. Open our eyes and hearts to the work of peacemaking.
Right, and please join now in singing hymn number 345, With Joy We Claim the Growing Light. Please stand. I invite you now into a brief time of meditation. If it's comfortable for you, have your feet on the ground, feel the earth beneath you, feel the back of the chair supporting you. With that supported back, allow your chest and your heart to open. If you'd like to help focus, just close your eyes. Try to deepen and slow your breath a bit. We'll have a reading, a moment of silence, and then that will be followed by a piece by Chorealis. This morning's reading is a winter meditation by Tess Baumberger. Something has changed in me this winter. In the past, I've focused on how long winter is, how miserable I find it, and how it seems so interminable. This winter, I find myself thinking instead that every day, every hour, every minute brings us just that much closer to spring. We all experience wintry times when things seem harsh and frozen or muffled by layers of shrouds of snow. It's helpful to remember that each day that dawns bleakly, each night that wraps its cold around our hearts, brings us closer to that time of warmth and vibrant sun. It's perhaps helpful to consider that turning towards spring is an active thing. The earth, which seems so stable, in fact flies quickly through space on its path that tilts us ever towards the source. So too, each memory we lay to rest, each truth in ourselves that we encounter and accept, each wrong act that we forgive, ushers us on towards our own renewal. Each week, we take time as a community to mark special milestones, special sorrows, cares, concerns, things that are on our hearts and minds each week. And so if you have something that you would like to mark, I invite you to come forward, light a candle. There are stations on both sides. Please take a taper, come behind the tables, because people on camera would like to be able to see faces and feel participating in this as well, and mark your special moment. Please come forward as you're ready. I lit one last candle for anything that may be held in our hearts, held in our minds, just not quite ready to share yet, or we're just not sure what to do with. And so let us honor and acknowledge all of the lives represented, all of the care represented in these candles today. Please join now in singing hymn number 226, People Look East. Now, just in case you haven't noticed, this is the carols and lessons service. So there's a lot of carols and there's a lot of lessons or readings. We had quite a few in sort of the first half of the season. We're going to amp that right up now. So they're going to come fast and furious. If you would prefer to stay seated, that's fine. Otherwise, you may feel a little bit jack-in-the-boxy. If you'd like to stand and sing, that's fine too. Buckle up. Thank goodness choir members are better at the order of service than I am. Before we dive into that, we do need to expand and extend our gratitude through a collection. We are a self-sufficient church. What we want to see in terms of programming, ministry, staffing, we support, but we also know that it's important for us to support the wider community. And so for the month of December, the unidentified cash in the collection plates, half of that will be going to what we call the Minister's Discretionary Fund. Come on through. And that allows Reverend Rosemary to provide support to people who may have unexpected hardships, some examples of that are people who have had a house fire, or people who are experiencing homelessness, people who are from out of town who have a sick loved one in the hospital and are ending up having to stay in town a little longer than they might have expected. And so this discretionary fund allows for some support and some help for people who really need it right at the moment without a lot of paperwork and delays in getting that to them. And so your generosity towards that is greatly appreciated. And we'll receive your offering today by singing "From You I Receive," which I forgot to tell Rebecca about. I think we can do it a cappella. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
This piece, called Unitarians at Christmas, was written by Kate McKenna, a Unitarian in the United Kingdom, hence the lack of the word universalist in the first section. They say a story can carry a truth far greater than the literal truth. We Unitarians know the value of stories. We know they carry truth. We know they carry more truth than just the plain truth ever can. Maybe we can't believe a virgin gave birth to the Son of God, but we can believe that all births are miracles worthy of celebration and wonder. Maybe we can't believe angels brought revelations, but we can believe truth can be revealed through the actions and words of those who dare to speak it and to act it. Maybe we can't believe the angels sang to shepherds, but we can believe that those revelations about life can come to and through even those we think are the most humble. Maybe we can't believe the wise men traveled to see the newborn baby king, but we can believe that we should never be too lofty or think ourselves too clever or too rich to see the wonder and majesty in tiny things. Maybe we can't believe that Jesus brought back the light by redeeming our sins, but we can believe in a leader and a teacher and a prophet who brought and brings illumination to the lives of those who wish to listen. We can believe in the light. Always we can believe in the light. Maybe we can't believe the Christmas story, but we can believe in it as a story which points to a truth greater than we can possibly imagine. And so we are here, Unitarians, Unitarian Universalists at Christmas, celebrating.
And let us celebrate by singing the very festive, O Come All Ye Faithful.
The next reading is adapted from Invitation to Christmas by Sherry Woodbury. In this season of mystery and magic, let us enter into the Christmas story as if we were there on the holy night. What part will we play this year? Are you the mother, trusting her body to know what to do when the time of birth comes? Are you the father, protecting your vulnerable family from unknown threats on a strange journey? Are you the innkeeper who has no room? Or will you take us in? Perhaps you are the animals who hear the child's first cry. But who will sing the songs of rejoicing for the precious babe? Who will rise up and follow the bright star of hope, even if it means a few lost sheep? What wise ones will give away their wealth and remember what to adore? And when the Holy Family must travel again, who in this harsh land will shelter them? On this silent night, let us search our hearts for our place in the Christmas story that never ends. Let us choose again our role in the incarnation of love.
And let us sing hymn number 224, Let Christmas Come.
Christmas come. The Innkeeper by Anne Dilshin Schneider. I don't speak German. If that's German, I'm not sure. The Innkeeper isn't part of most nativity sets. No one sings carols about innkeepers. There don't seem to be any paintings that include them, but we can imagine the scene. Bethlehem is crowded with people coming home for the census. It's late at night when the innkeeper responds to a knock on the door and finds a young couple standing there. The woman is very pregnant. She and her spouse look exhausted. They've walked 100 miles over rough, rocky terrain to get here from Nazareth. The innkeeper is confronted with a dilemma. The inn is full. There just isn't any more room. At the same time, the innkeeper knows that offering hospitality is part of being God's people, because there have always been sojourners and strangers in Egypt. That's why the innkeeper has always made sure there's an empty chair for an unexpected guest at the annual Seder meal celebrating Passover. What to do? As a child, the innkeeper had learned the story of Abraham and Sarah welcoming 3 strangers into their home. After they made the strangers a lavish feast, the couples discovered their guests were messengers, angels sent to bring great news. As laughable as it sounds, the elderly Sarah was going to have a baby. So the innkeeper knows the tradition of entertaining strangers. The innkeeper knows strangers are messengers, angels from God. Tonight, there is a bed wrangling and weary couple on this very doorstep. What to do? The innkeeper pulls the door to a bit, hastily assessing the situation. Is there any space anywhere? The beds are all taken. There are even people sleeping on the floor. What to do? Is there any possible solution? In a moment of inspiration, the innkeeper remembers there's a stable out back behind the inn. It's not much, but it's some protection from the wind. No matter how bitter the weather may become, the heat from the animals will keep these guests warm. The innkeeper flings open the door and welcomes the couple with a broad smile. There's not much, but there's a possibility. A stable. Will it suffice? It does. And the innkeeper saves the day.
Let's sing that story now with hymn number 228, Once in Royal David City.
Where a mother laid her Angle that down. A Baby Was Born by Gwen Matthews. Once upon a time, a baby was born. Even before that baby was born, there were people waiting and wishing and hoping for that baby. The people who were waiting and wishing and hoping for that baby didn't know exactly what the baby would be like, and so they wondered, would the baby have a smile so warm that it could melt the coldest snow and ice? Would the baby have a voice so strong that it could shake the very mountains? Would the baby be so courageous that all would be comforted, even during the most ferocious storms? Would the baby show the world so much love that peace would settle into the most hardened hearts? But even as they asked these questions, as they imagined what the baby might be like, the people who were waiting and wishing and hoping for the baby already believed that the baby would indeed have a warm smile, a strong voice, and a courageous spirit, and a loving heart. And they weren't wrong. When Jesus was born, his tiny body was wrapped up to keep out the cold. He was laid down on straw in a trough that was used to feed the animals inside of a barn. His young parents, proud and exhausted, had been forced to take a long journey far from home. Jesus' parents were two of the people who had been waiting and wishing and hoping for him to be born. But there were people who had been waiting, wishing, and hoping for Jesus to come. These people saw hurt and suffering in the world, and they believed that this new baby, Jesus, could use his voice to spread a message of love and peace, and they knew it would take the courage for him to do so. But Jesus wasn't the only baby that people have been waiting, wishing, and hoping for. People also waited and wished and hoped for you. Once upon a time, you were born. But even before you were born, there were people waiting and wishing and hoping for you. But those people who were wishing and waiting and hoping for you didn't know exactly what you would be like. And so they wondered, would you be kind? Would you be brave? Would you show love? Would you spread peace and joy? But even as they asked these questions, as the people who were waiting and wishing and hoping for you imagined what you might be like, what kind of a person might you grow up to be? They already believed that you would be kind, brave, and loving, and that you would spread peace and joy in the world. They knew that you could help ease the suffering and the hurt in the world, and that you would speak out against violence and oppression. And they weren't wrong.
Now we'll sing hymn number 238, Within the Shining of a Star.
Every day.
Our last story of this morning is one that we've done before, but it's one of my very favorites, and in a very selfish way, I saved it for myself to read. But it's written by a Karen, so I thought it was appropriate. It's by Karen Solveig Anderson. When I was a child, the day after Thanksgiving was steeped in ritual. Every year, my family would travel to Chicago for the holiday festivities. Our tour was always the same. We'd tromp down Michigan Avenue, admiring store windows and animated mechanical dolls that served as actors to tell the narrated holiday story. And we would wait in line for 2 hours to sit under the 3-story tree at Marshall Fields and enjoy a formal lunch and sit on Santa's lap to discuss the finer points on our list. And then off to Berghoff for dinner. The day always held magic, mostly because of my dime-laden mittens. In the morning, my dad would give my sister and me each a handful of dimes, which I kept in my mittens so that I could tinker with them through the day as we walked in anticipation of finding another one of them. Them being the Salvation Army Christmas buckets. At almost every corner, familiar red cans awaited, and I marveled in watching as my dimes swirled down the coin slot and plunked with the rest of the dimes in the bottom of the bucket. At the time, I knew nothing about the Salvation Army theology, only that they worked for the homeless and destitute. They became my symbol of generosity for the season, albeit bucket-sized. As an adult, I often felt an odd pull to ring that bell myself. One year, I gave in. I called up the Salvation Army lieutenant and enthusiastically asked if they were in need of help, and what do you know, they were. I was given 2 assignments. I couldn't wait to get my hands on that tinkly little bell. The first assignment was a busy street corner with a bookstore and a coffee shop on either side. And I rang my ding-a-lingy bell in 10-degree weather with glee, stamping my feet periodically to stay warm. My smart bucket swung in delight in the breeze, and it was an experience just as I had hoped. People stopped by with coffee, people wished me Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, asked me if I was warm enough. I marveled at the parade of dime and quarter donors and the familiar plunk of the change that followed. My second assignment was at a mall across from J.C. Penney's. Once again eager, I was itched to start my ring-a-dinging. The lieutenant arrived to set up my bucket, and my hands reached for the bell. No bell. He explained, the mall owners have complained. No bell, only this. And he handed me a sign. The sign was a piece of paper attached to a long dowel. On the top of the dowel, one side said ding, and the other side said dong. My little bucket instantly lost its tingling. My enthusiasm waned. I flipped in silent motion. It seemed absurd, but I went to work. People pushed past each other, mired in that Christmas hubbub that leans toward frustration, not joy, and then they'd spot me. And then their faces would contort, scrunching up into laughter, and that uncomfortable feeling when you're embarrassed for someone else, but a little bit humored by them at the same time. They would often throw in some dimes, say Happy Holidays, barely able to stifle a laugh, and an awkward yet justifiable smirk. I fought hard not to feel like the sign was projecting my mental state to the whole community. For 4 hours, I flipped the sign, that is. 10 minutes before I was to quit, this fellow in black cowboy boots and a 10-gallon hat walked up to me and laughed. Not a quiet smirk, not a giggle. Full over, bent down, hysterical laughing. I stood taller, flipping my sign with increased vigor. I couldn't tell where he was going with this. When he finally stood up for air, his eyes were smiling, so I hoped for no malicious intent. But I was all ready to kick him in the shins if things got out of hand. Then he said, I must say, I have never seen a sign like that before. Anybody who stands with a sign that says ding dong must be duly rewarded. And he reached into his back pocket and retrieved his wallet. Crisp bills lay neatly in uniform order. He ran through the 5s, through the 10s, through the 20s, and got to a row of 50s. He pulled one out, a $50 bill. He neatly folded the bill and squeezed it into the bucket designed for coins. Nodding, he smiled right into my eyes and muttered, "Well, I never." Then he continued on through the mall with laughter that hung captive in the air like lingering pipe smoke. I, on the other hand, began to turn that sign with renewed vigor. I looked at each passerby with a new attitude, whether they snickered or smiled, donated or not. I now felt strangely in awe of my little ding-dong sign. I was unabashedly proud that I was stupid enough to stand in a mall, flipping a sign, waiting for humor and generosity to wake someone's humdrum spirit. Waiting for it, it finally dawned on me that my gifts of generosity and time needed to lose their pretenses in order for any true generosity to occur. Waiting just to discover that the season can still thrill and surprise. Waiting for magic, only to find that red buckets held it all the time, even without the ding-a-ling.
Sleigh bells Our closing words are adapted by Kendall Gibson. It's entitled, "Christmas is Subversive." One of the great things about Christmas is that it is a sturdy holiday. Christmas doesn't whip out when times are hard. It comes anyway, even if there are hardly any presents, even when there isn't much food to make a feast with, even if you're sad, even if the world around you is at war, even if you are living in fear and danger and oppression, Christmas still comes. And when it comes, Christmas is subversive. Christmas with its story of an unwed mother and a doubtful father, with its legend of a helpless baby born in a stable who was worshipped by some of the wisest, richest men in the world, with its tale of the child pursued by the deadly wrath of kings, who escaped as a refugee to a foreign land far from home. Christmas with its ancient, enduring summons of peace on earth, goodwill to all people everywhere. You can't stop a day like that with a little hardship, greed, or injustice. It will show up anyway, shining the light of the midnight star into the darkest places of our collective lives. Do not underestimate the power of the manger and the hope it holds. The Christmas song of the angels is not as innocent as it sounds. It has turned the world upside down before, and it still can. So let Let us take the Spirit, the love and the hope into our hearts and into the world today, this season, and throughout the coming years. May it be so. Blessed be.
I'd like to invite Tony forward to extinguish our chalice and our Advent candles. And as we embrace the darkness, especially in this geography, this time of year, but time to find stillness and rest and renewal and peace within ourselves, and to look forward to the returning light, the warmth, and the longer days. And as we reflect on the season and participate in it and do whatever makes it special for us, may we keep the warmth of our flame and the warmth of our community within us, and may we share it with others. We have a very special closing song for you today. It is the world premiere of a Gordon Ritchie piece. It's unlike anything you've ever heard from him before. He actually gifted it to Edmonton Vocal Minority, and they have named this year's holiday extravaganza, which will happen tomorrow night here at 7, after this song. It's called Happy and Jolly and Gay, and you'll get the reason why when we sing it. But we're lucky enough to get to do a little sneak peek for you today. So enjoy, and following this song, we will sing Carry the Flame together.
I'm gonna be Lord of the rules of
some sort of circle-like configuration. And we'll sing Carry the Flame.